Bethesda is dead. Todd Howard deserves to rot in a Chinese forced labor re-education camp, and Emil Paglarino deserves a one-way ticket. All expenses paid. That's right, even the drinks, even the slap on the waitress, okay? We're very nice people here, remember? One-way ticket to the center of a fucking black hole at this point. And I firmly believe that the average Bethesda employee comes to work high on fentanyl. It is what it is. In any case, welcome to the channel that has roughly 500 plus Bethesda bad videos at this point. But I would like to tell everyone, in case you do not know, I am not biased against Bethesda. It's just they're really, really shit at their job. It is what it is.
Back in 2011, Bethesda released Skyrim and it took the gaming world by storm. Critics praised it, fans adored it, and it quickly became the gold standard for open world RPGs. By that point, Bethesda had already defined the genre with Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, each pushing the formula forward. The Elder Scrolls series became one of the biggest franchises in gaming, and expectations for the next entry were enormous.
To be fair, I think what really happened was Morrowind and Oblivion set up a huge foundation for why people in depth love the franchise. But Skyrim really pushed into that mainstream. Skyrim really made it popular. Skyrim was what truly got them on the map and, well, unironically got us in the situation that we are in right now.
After selling over 60 million copies, most studios would have rushed out a sequel. Instead, Bethesda moved on to Fallout 4, then later shifted towards Fallout 76 and Starfield. Despite teasing The Elder Scrolls 6 in 2018, development has been slow, with Todd Howard confirming it still needs.
It's almost been a decade since we got the reveal that Elder Scrolls 6 is happening. Can you imagine that? Now, granted, Elder Scrolls 6 could unironically be kind of close, because you need to remember, when Microsoft bought Bethesda, Starfield was already pretty much ready to ship, by Bethesda's own words. But Microsoft looked at that, said, holy shit, this thing has more bugs than 76, and then they forced Bethesda literally for 2 years to fix bugs. Yes, Starfield was delayed by 2 years to fix bugs. And the same thing could happen with Elder Scrolls 6. It could be close to finishing, but maybe, someone at Microsoft is currently, measuring ropes and learning to tie knots because there's too much bugs and Bethesda needs to take a decade plus to fix them at this point.
More time. With a release now expected closer to 2030, that would mark nearly a 20-year gap between mainline entries. But the delay isn't Bethesda's biggest issue, it's what happened during.
Bethesda's biggest issue is the fact that real fans currently don't want Elder Scrolls 6. We don't want Fallout 5 because we know that Bethesda is not going to deliver quality. We know whatever the hell we're going to get, it's going to be bad. And I'd rather get nothing. I'd rather get nothing. And some people I know are going to say, oh, but modding can save it, right? Look at Starfield. Modding couldn't save Starfield. It's still fucking super bad. So, no, I would rather have nothing than actually have a Bethesda game at this point. I want Elder Scrolls 6 at least as a halfway decent playable state, okay? Or Fallout 5 the same way. But not with the current Bethesda. I don't want another Starfield. Now, granted, I could literally milk roughly 230 negative videos about Starfield. Well, this would be much bigger, to be honest. So maybe 700 videos. Yes, I have aspirations, boys. It is what it is. Like the video, by the way, right now. It helps more people figure out how absolutely incompetent, skillless, and talentless Bethesda is through us literally just looking at what Bethesda does and completely being objective.
it. Back when Skyrim released, Bethesda had very little true competition in the open world space. That's no longer the case. While Bethesda focused on other projects, the industry didn't stand still. Other studios didn't just match their blueprint, they refined and surpassed it. The Elder Scrolls 6 won't be measured against Skyrim anymore, it'll be measured against everything that replaced it, and across every pillar Skyrim once defined, world design, quests, combat, and RPG systems, the bar has moved beyond it. In this video, I'll break down.
To be fair, when we're talking about, for example, level ups and whatnot, I think Skyrim's system of level up is good enough. Now, granted, I would love a Fallout New Vegas style of leveling up where there's really unique stuff and interesting ways to play the game and whatnot, but I mean, the Skyrim one is not bad. Honestly, leveling up in Skyrim was one of the best parts of the game, for me at least.
Exactly how that happened, what the new standards are, and what the Elder Scrolls 6 now has to deliver to meet expectations. So let's get into it, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. So to understand the stakes, you need to understand the new standards. Bethesda's open world games once thrived across multiple pillars, but those pillars haven't stayed still. So let's go through each one, break down how the standards have evolved, and why Bethesda now has a serious gap to close in every area. The first section to cover is the open world, and there's a lot to unpack. Back when Skyrim released, open world games were still relatively rare, and Bethesda largely had the space to themselves. Both Fallout
Oh, that's actually so true.
and the Elder Scrolls operated on a scale few other games could match, and most competitors weren't even attempting to reach it, but that era didn't last. As Bethesda rose in popularity, the industry followed. Open world design shifted from niche to standard, and almost every major franchise eventually moved in that direction. So what games match Skyrim's scale and quality today? Well, take your pick. The Witcher 3 delivered a
Honestly, pretty much almost everything. Even indie games like Tainted Grail, The Fall of Babylon, which is, by the way, the game, again, I suggest this to everyone. It's still one of my favorite games. I'm gonna do on the third channel. Yes, there's a third channel. I'm gonna upload videos there very, very, very unfrequently because they're gonna actually take time. But I think the first real playthrough is gonna be Tainted Grail.
larger, more varied world. Red Dead Redemption 2 created an open world that generally feels alive. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 expanded across 2 regions with strong systemic depth. There are plenty more examples, but this video is focused on the highest standard Bethesda will actually be judged on. In my opinion, Crimson Desert currently sets that benchmark. Where Skyrim focuses on a single snowy region, Crimson Desert expands across multiple distinct biomes: the grasslands of Hernand, the snowy mountains of Payloon, the royal region of Demonis, the futuristic Delasia, and the deserts of the Crimson Desert itself. It feels like Skyrim's world.
I swear I have already seen this video before when he talks like this, but ABV Games does reuse snippets of his previous videos in the new videos, so maybe this is just false.
Design multiplied several times over. Beyond scale, it's dense and visually striking, with huge draw distances and one of the most detailed worlds we've ever seen. Nearly everywhere you go, there are secrets, activities, and points of interest, with far less reliance on copy and paste locations. It also features 5 major cities, smaller settlements, home building, farming and ranching systems, and over 400 side quests. So it is built in the same framework as the Elder Scrolls. Many already call it the Skyrim of this generation, and it genuinely makes Skyrim feel small by comparison. Unlike modern Bethesda titles that rely heavily on loading screens, it also runs seamlessly, allowing.
Actually, I guess that's really true. People do see Crimson Desert. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't because it's still so different from Skyrim, to be honest. Skyrim does have that uniqueness to it when it comes to just do something and something turns out to be a thing. Crimson Desert, you kind of always know that you're doing a thing, right? And I think as long as that difference stays, it's not going to truly be an equivalent to Skyrim for a lot of people. But I understand why people call it a Skyrim, because it really is close.
full traversal, interior access, and quest flow without interruption. Despite its huge scale, the entirety of the map is handcrafted, which is the exact opposite of Starfield, which relied heavily on procedural generation. When the Elder Scrolls 6 finally releases, and they return to handcrafted environments, this is the world it will be compared to most. If the Elder Scrolls 6 delivers a smaller world with fewer biomes, less interactivity, or less to discover, it will inevitably be seen as a step backwards. Even if the two games are different in intent, the comparison is unavoidable. Crimson Desert has expanded on many of the ideas that once made Skyrim revolutionary, and expectations for Bethesda now reflect that same scale and ambition. Now let's talk about NPCs and world realism. For its time, Skyrim was genuinely revolutionary in how...
Now, I just checked it on the second monitor. This is literally a new video, but I feel like I have seen it before. I swear I feel like I have seen it.
NPCs behaved. Characters followed daily routines, waking up, going to work, relaxing in taverns, and eventually returning home to sleep. Small details like this made the world feel alive, as if it continued to exist even without the player. Since then, Bethesda has arguably gone backwards. In Starfield, many NPCs lack meaningful routines.
I don't think the routine thing is actually that matters that much. Because we have had other games that have NPC routines. They do this while it's day and they go sleep there at night. But, for example, Fallout 4 had that. Diamond City? Anyone? And why does Diamond City still feel so much fucking worse than, well, anything that Skyrim has? Anything that Fallout New Vegas 3 or whatever has? I think because it's just not realistic. It doesn't feel real, okay? Having a lot of NPCs, but they're just kind of randomly going about places doesn't feel even real. That's kind of the problem. In Skyrim, at least, it felt real. You know, you go into Whiterun, you go into the, Raid Square or whatever the hell it's called, and you see people there. It makes sense. Here, it's like, okay, this is like a rando street and people are just walking around. Why? Why the fuck would I don't understand this. And I think this is an issue. It's not the routine thing. It's just like you're making a world that doesn't seem believable versus you're making a world that does seem believable.
Often wandering without clear purpose and showing limited reaction, if any, to the player's actions. But even beyond Bethesda, the standard has evolved dramatically since Skyrim. The Witcher 3 introduced more believable conversations and social interaction. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 pushes reactivity further, with characters remembering your actions and adjusting their behavior based on reputation and choices. But the current benchmark is clearly Red Dead Redemption 2. The NPCs aren't just in the world as window dressing, they literally live in it. You can watch towns physically develop over time, with workers hammering nails, carrying lumber, and building structures as days pass.
Does it actually finish, though? Do the buildings actually get finished at some point? I don't know.
In restaurants, characters eat meals bite by bite with fully animated routines. At night, they gather, socialize, and react to events around them. You can greet, antagonize, or interact with almost anyone, and the world responds accordingly. The result is a level of immersion that still feels unmatched, and with GTA 6 on the horizon, that standard is only going higher. Whenever modern open world games release, comparisons to NPC
Is it though?
Behavior immediately follow online. We've all seen a video of a man cutting wood in one game compared to a man cutting wood in Red Dead Redemption 2. The Elder Scrolls 6 will be no different. While other games have come close to matching the NPC quality of Red Dead Redemption 2, Starfield was a long way off, and by 2030, players won't be impressed by civilians wandering aimlessly or NPCs eating full loaves of bread before putting them back in their pockets. They'll expect living reactive worlds on the level of
Pocket bread, I like it.
Red Dead Redemption 2, and that is exactly the standard the Elder Scrolls 6 will be judged against. Another area the Elder Scrolls 6 will be judged on is its combat. Even back in 2011, Skyrim's combat was never...
I'm not gonna lie, boys. I'm completely fine if this is the combat of Elder Scrolls 6. Now, granted, a little bit better, a little bit more freshened up, but I don't exactly want or need Crimson Desert style of combat.
considered exceptional. Players were willing to accept simpler mechanics because the game offered something few others could, a massive open world packed with exploration and hundreds of quests, and to its credit, it still offered strong variety through different weapons, builds and spell combinations, but standards have changed dramatically since then. Games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 have pushed melee realism further, while Dragon's Dogma 2 expanded build variety and class design. But the clearest benchmark is Elden Ring. It delivers an enormous range of combat options, each with distinct feel and animation.
No, I don't agree with this. Elden Ring is something very specific, a very specific type of combat. You cannot replicate this in Elder Scrolls 6 without making it an Elden Ring game. There's no way. It loses with... There's no way. If you're gonna implement this type of meaningful combat, it's not gonna work. It's no longer gonna be a Bethesda game even at that point.
On top of that, hundreds of weapons, ashes of war, sorceries, incantations.
Now, granted, I'm not saying that that would not be fun or good. That actually does sound good. But I would like something like that that has seemingly a lot of potential, be its own game, and then we still get Elder Scrolls 6, okay? I mean, we already kind of got it with Crimson Desert because that's what Crimson Desert kind of actually is. It's Skyrim, but hey, here's Elden Ring combat.
Summons and status effects create near limitless build diversity. Combined with tight responsive combat and distinct enemy design, it sets a new standard for depth and flexibility in action RPG combat. I'm not saying the Elder Scrolls 6 should turn into a Souls-like game, which is renowned for difficulty. The point is that combat expectations have moved on. Elden Ring didn't raise the bar in difficulty, it raised it in variety, responsiveness and build depth. Players now expect combat that feels engaging moment to moment, not just functional. That's where older systems start to show their age. The era of simple, low feedback combat is long gone, and even Bethesda's own Starfield showed how quickly that design can feel outdated, with encounters often criticized for feeling flat or overly spongy. Whether Bethesda...
This is the beginning of the game. This is what was one of my biggest complaints about Starfield. It's the fact that you have a gun with 100 bullets, and to kill a basic level, pretty much like level 1 or 3 enemy, you need to spend 50 of them. And if you're lucky, you get, I don't know, like 30 bullets back from it. So it was so shit.
Benchmarks like Elden Ring, where combat variety, responsiveness, and build freedom have been pushed far further than before. Another area Bethesda needs to step up is role-playing depth. After Morrowind,
there is no way of stepping that up unless we get rid of Emil. Emil has proven without any doubt that he is completely talentless. He's a complete idiot when it comes to writing. Incapable, uninspired trash. That is the best that we can get from him. And the worst part is, the guy unironically thinks that he's good. That he's great. You know, all of these things. I'm trying to see, because it's really annoying when that happens during the day. But Emil should be fired. Because let's be real. Everyone hated Starfield's writing, right? And then Starfield Shattered Space came, and Emil literally said, no, the people who didn't like my writing, they're wrong. All the people who didn't like my marvelous, amazing writing, they're wrong. They're just lacking media literacy. That's right, boys, big words. And then there was the, what's it called? Head Armada expansion where NPCs can't even string 2 sentences together properly, which was Emil's best work, honestly. Oh my god. There is no lore. There is no writing. There is no dialogue if Emil still has a goddamn job at the end of the day.
Their games gradually stripped back RPG systems in favor of accessibility. Where Morrowind had deep stats, skill checks, and dialogue options that meaningfully shaped how you played, Skyrim largely simplified or removed those systems entirely. More recently, Starfield attempted to reintroduce some of that RPG structure, but outside of its initial systems and character creation.
Oh, this is shit. People got baited by this so hard. The reality is this doesn't give you anything new. You maybe have like a new piece of text in an quest that doesn't change anything. It's just additional dialogue that means nothing. That's what it is. And I mean, world building, skills, all of this shit. Like, what else is there even to talk about at this point? Dialogue? 10 more minutes. Like, what are we gonna have left to cover?
Than storytelling. Expectations had risen.
No, it's still storytelling.
It's clear they're facing an uphill battle.
True. Anyway, that was ABB Gaming 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye.